What's up, everybody? This is Dr. Nick with Leverage Media, and today I want to talk to you about should you be renting or should you be buying your chiropractic website. So what I mean by renting or buying is since chiropractic started really doing more in terms of websites, which has probably been about the last 15 years, when we got started 15 years ago, websites were much more complicated and more difficult to create than they are today. And for whatever reason, as a profession, we started out by renting websites from companies. So there were maybe 3 to 5 companies that really started out in the time that I was really starting out in practice, which was the early 2000s. And they just dominated that market. And they had a good, they had good infrastructure. At the time, the sites I thought, were modern and clean and looked good. Lots of information that was on there. But over time, websites have become less expensive to build from the ground up, to own as a practice. So, but for whatever reason, as chiropractors, we've kind of gotten stuck into that model of the past where we, pay a low, sometimes $0, to get started, maybe a couple $100 to, build out the initial website. And then we pay, anywhere from, $100 to probably up to about $500 a month just to maintain the website. That's not even if you're doing like, the advanced SEO package or the Google My Business Optimization or adding Google ads or Facebook ads into it. Then they start tacking, it can get into the thousands at that point. But just for websites, the prices that I've seen for these, cookie cutter website companies is between $100 and $500 to basically manage your website. That might include some basic SEO that gets done on a regular basis, but not a lot. So if you do that, what you're signing up for is basically a lifetime of monthly fees. And the problem is that you don't own the website. The company that built the website is the one that owns it. And if you ever stop paying that monthly fee, now all of a sudden you don't have a website and you're starting back over from zero. You might own the URL, but the design, the pages, the content, a lot of times that is exclusively with the company that builds it. Now, I think that when you get started in practice, if you don't get a business loan, if you are really like doing it by a shoestring, then that can be, you have to have a website. It needs to look professional. It needs to meet some minimum bar of the public's expectations. So sometimes that can work for somebody who's just getting started out. The problem is when I see people that are collecting, over $100,000 a month, and they're still spending, $200, $300, $400 a month for really what's the most important online asset that you have. So all of your other stuff, your Facebook page, your YouTube channel, your Instagram and TikTok, all those things are owned by those platforms. You don't own any of them. You can get kicked off the platform, at a moment's notice. With your website, it's the one thing that you can truly own, and it's really the center of your online presence. So to be renting that from someone else and be at the whims of another company really puts you in a precarious place. So once you get to, I always say that once you get to probably that $20,000, $30,000 in collection per month, that you should absolutely be transitioning from a rented website into a site that you own. The longer that you stay on a rented website, the more stuck you get. And so if you can treat it as maybe like a bridge to a better website down the road, when you're first getting started, then I'm all on board with that. But if you're at a point where you are successful in practice, you're profitable in practice, now is the time to start to move that your website from something that you're renting to something that you own. As long as the transition is done properly, you won't lose much of your rankings. You can see a drop in the short term, but in the long term, you should be able to get back to where you are right now in terms of your SEO, and hopefully be able to even go beyond. What I see with people that rent is that they kind of they get lulled into a sense of security because there's lots of content on the page or on the website, so they just kind of forget about it. With a site that you own, you should be constantly building that site, creating more content, adding more pages so that Google sees you as the most relevant person in the area. So if you are currently renting, I strongly recommend moving towards something that you own. If you're looking for help with that, I am a StoryBrand certified guide, so I take people through the StoryBrand process and I help them create custom websites that really tell the uniqueness of the practice and that practice's story to its community. So if you're looking for any help, let me know and we'll see you on the next one.